Hi, everybody. I'm Tanya Pahucha, and I'm a technical account manager here at AWS, based out of Delhi, India. Welcome to AWS Supports You, where AWS support experts provides tips to optimize performance in the cloud, lower cost, and provides you with the best practices and design considerations. Joining me today is K.S. and Anjali from our AWS support teams. Can you give us a quick introduction, K.S. and Anjali?
Sure. Thank you, Tanya. Hello, all. Thank you for joining. My name is Kez. I'm the technical account manager with AWS. I am based out of India and support customers from financial domain. I'm one of the core members of the security improvement workshop that we drive for our customers to help validate their security posture and assist them in improving it. I also lead the incident management tabletop exercise entitlement from the TAM team in India. So that's all about me. Over to you, Anjali.
Hey, thanks, Cass. Thanks, Tanya. Hey, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Anjali. I'm also a technical account manager based out of India, working with customer in media and entertainment domain. I have been with AWS for 1 year now. I'm also a part of cloud operation community with focus area of architectural health and cloud optimization, which revolves around AWS trusted advisor, well architected tools and all. Apart from this, I'm also part of database community with expertise in PostgreSQL. So thank you. Over to you, Tanya.
Thank you, Case, and thanks, Anjali, for joining us today. So, today we will be introducing you to AWS Health Aware solutions, along with a demo of sending health alerts to ServiceNow with EventBridge integrations, where Case and Anjali will further deep dive into it. But before we get into the details, a quick note to the attendees online. Use the chat window on the right hand side of your screen to let us know where you are joining us from today, and also share your thoughts, any questions that you have throughout the episode. We look forward to hearing from you. We will also provide a link to our survey. So if you would like to let us know how we did during the session, please click on that link and leave your feedback. With that, can you walk us through what all that we are going to be covering today, Case?
Sure. Thank you, Tanya. So, folks, today I would talk about AWS Health Service, how it is used by the teams at AWS to communicate with our customers, and the kind of events we post to different dashboards, and what personalities in your organization are likely consumer of these different type of events. From there, we will go into the AWS Health Aware solution, which can aggregate health events across your organization and push those events into communication channels you use every day. We would cover its technical architecture, pricing, and the support model. We will then talk about building notification or automation on top of health events using CloudWatch events or EventBridge. My colleague Anjali would cover the AWS Health Aware integration with ServiceNow, along with the common troubleshooting steps. Along the way, we would cover some of the frequently asked questions we get from our customers. Lastly, for questions, just like my colleague highlighted, you can post them in chat box at any time during the presentation, and we would pick them up accordingly. So let's get started. So the AWS Health Service is designed around providing transparent and ongoing visibility into your resource performance and availability of your AWS services and accounts. Keeping our customers informed allows them to take action with best available information to respond to or avoid impacts to their services. The AWS Health Aware service provides that platform. AWS Health is a service that provides ongoing visibility into the state of your AWS resources, services, and accounts. The service provides awareness and remediation guidance for resource performance or availability issues that may affect your applications running on AWS. The service delivers health events triggered by changes in the health of the AWS resources to help accelerate troubleshooting. You can use these health events to create notification or even automate action. So, next is we would talk about what is the AWS Health Service. So, AWS Health Event or the AWS Health Service are the information messages that AWS Health sends on behalf of other AWS services. So EC2, RDS, S3, etc., are all using health service to inform customers of issues that may affect their accounts or their resources. So when AWS Health event is added, it has scope. Events are scoped publicly or specific to your accounts or your resources. AWS serve these to our customers in a few different ways, and I'll talk about them in depth. First is through the AWS Health Dashboard, a global console that you can view events from all AWS regions at a glance without having to change the region selection on the AWS Management Console. The AWS Health Dashboard provides alerts and remediation guidance when AWS is experiencing events that may impact you. Second, through a set of APIs to access the information in a programmatic fashion. So, resource health events from AWS services are available in AWS Health and can be accessed through these health APIs. And lastly, via post notification through CloudWatch events, where you can set custom rules and targets to extract the events of interest. CloudWatch events can also be configured to detect health events and take necessary actions like restart an EC2 instance. These channels can be used by our customers to integrate with in house third party monitoring and event management systems. Users can also create custom dashboards and notifications. Health API is a RESTful web service that uses JSON as a message format. The AWS Health API provides programmatic access to health information that is presented in the health dashboard. Next, we will talk about ways to consume these health events. First up is through the Service Health Dashboard or SHD. So you can access the SHD page using the link on the screen. It shows updates on events which affect a broad set of users of a service within an availability zone or a region. Service Health Dashboard displays the general status of AWS services and the most up to date or up to the minute information on service availability. The status is publicly available per service and region, and users can subscribe to RSS feeds to receive health event status updates. The status history is also available for the past 1 year. These updates are not specific to an individual customer or an individual account or AWS region. So, for that, we have the health dashboard, or formerly known as the personal health dashboard. So, with PhD or with the health dashboard, it gives you a personalized view into the performance and availability of the AWS services, underlining your resources with recent and upcoming events uh, organized by three different categories. Um, so, one is open issues. The unexpected any unexpected AWS service events or an operational issue affecting a service which may further affect your resources are all listed under open issues. Under schedule changes, you have upcoming changes or maintenance events. Some of these might require action to avoid service disruptions, while others can work automatically. Example would be a direct connect or a VPN tunnel maintenance, major or minor version upgrade, and also EC2 maintenance requiring you to stop and start your instances. The third one is the other notifications tab, where all the other outside of open issues or schedule changes, the other events such as administration, security, or informative events would be posted under the other notifications tab. Example of that would be S3 bucket, which is allowing public access. So the information about that particular resource would be listed under other notification, along with, say, abuse events, deprecating a feature or a version, recently the one that we have for Lambda runtime, as well as unsuccessful AWS certificate manager. All of this would be included under the other notification tab. In the event log section, these events are available for the past 90 days, allowing our customers to look back at a previous event and any communication from the teams over time. Another way one can access this information is with the Health API. And like I mentioned, it is a RESTful web service which provides programmatic access to the health information. Health API is available to customers with business, enterprise on-ramp, or enterprise support plan to programmatically integrate along with the third-party vendors or the third-party notification tools. On PhD, you can view events related to your individual account or an organization wide when you enable the organizational view under the health section of the PhD console. Next, we would talk about the AWS Health Aware solution. Before I jump into that, do we have any questions?
Yeah, so Case, one question that I would like to ask on behalf of the audience. Does AWS do AWS email our customers for any of these schedule changes and the account notification events? Can you shed some light there?
Sure. Yes, definitely. So we do send these schedule changes or account notification by default. These are sent to the root email address and the alternate contacts on each account, such as the operational security or the billing contacts. AWS also sends communications which are not health events to these registered emails.
Got it. Thanks, Case. I think it's helpful. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Cool. So here we would talk about the AWS Health Aware solution. The AWS Health Aware is a turnkey out-of-the-box solution provided by AWS that integrates with the AWS Health Service. AHA removes heavy lifting of aggregating these health events, a great way for our customers to gain visibility into health events in a single account or across their organization, and later potentially built on it using EventBridge integration and fan out to multiple different customers or consumers. It can be easily deployed within few minutes via CloudFormation or Terraform. My colleague would be going through that during the demo, and provides out-of-the-box integration with Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Chime. AHA notifies about all event types provided in the personal health dashboard, the categories that we covered in the previous slide, which is ongoing issues, account notifications, other or any schedule changes. All of this is integrated with the AWS Health Aware service. So AHA uses Health API to aggregate events, and the Health API, like I mentioned earlier, is available with business, enterprise, and enterprise on-ramp support plan. Next, we would look into how AHA works along with the services involved. So what you see on the screen is a basic architecture of the AWS Health Aware service. The AWS Health Aware service, or AHA, that we commonly acronym that with, is based on event-driven architecture. It leverages EventBridge to invoke required health API at a regular interval of 60 seconds. EventBridge rule then triggers the Lambda function. Within Lambda, AHA source code is stored in a deployment package and contains an event handler to process these events. The customer configured event channel information is stored in the secrets manager to protect access to those channels. DynamoDB is used as a persistent store. So AHA passes event data and stores the event-related metadata to perform event deduplication. The template can be deployed in organization management account or a delegated account. Lambda polls the health API for updates, It tracks the status in the DynamoDB table and send alerts to the notification platform of choice. Now, let's look into some of the key benefits of the AWS Health Aware solution. So the foremost one is the ease of use. AHA can be deployed within few minutes via CloudFormation template or the Terraform deployment option. Um, it helps centralize notification instead of checking dozens of AWS consoles. The notifications is aggregated with prescriptive guidance provided by the AWS Health Service, providing you the visibility into the AWS accounts and resources that are impacted uh, along with the PhD health alerts. With AHA, you can centralize all organization events on one bus and maintain one rule set. Extensibility is one of the key benefits of the AWS Health Aware solution. So it is easily extensible with EventBridge, with the capability to ingest both organizational as well as the non-organizational alerts to an event bus. Uh, that would help you set up rules and filters to forward important events to external providers. Filters that or the filters provided by AHA removes the noise and reports only on the regions where you have your resources running. So part of this would be covered in the demo, where we talk about the EventBridge extension for sending these alerts to ServiceNow. Lastly, AHA can take advantage of the AWS organization or organization view, which means it can be deployed once in the management account or a delegated account, and it would aggregate all the events across your organization and send it to the channels that you configure. By doing so, events are deduped. For instance, if you use RDS in multiple accounts in the same region, that public event would show on each account of or on each of those accounts. With the help of the organization view, that event is only pulled one time and posted to the chat channels, hence lowering the noise. And it would cover all the resources that are impacted across the organization. Next up, we would cover pricing and support for the AWS Health Aware solution. So AWS Health Aware solution is available at no cost. You basically pay for the services that are used. The total cost depends on the number of communication channels, amount of events stored or presented, and the Lambda function execution. So as of January 2023, average cost of running the AWS Health Aware solution is less than $5 per month for a mid to a large size organization with around 250 accounts. And the breakdown of the cost is as shown on the screen. I would also recommend you to check our AWS pricing page for additional information on the cost. AHA is available on the GitHub sample repository. My colleague would be sharing the link in the chat from where you could download the GitHub or you could download this solution from the GitHub page. Coming to the support model, for any additional question or any query that you may have regarding the AWS Health Aware solution, you can engage our premium support using the options that are showed on the screen. Next, we would like to share some of the feedback that we have received from our customers who have used the AWS Health Aware solution. So 90% or 95% of our correspondents stated that AHA made them more aware of AWS service and maintenance events. 86% said it was very easy to deploy, and you would see why during the demo. 14% of our customers sent some suggestions for improvement. Some of them we have incorporated in our latest release, which I would be covering in the next slide. Most of our customers used the AWS Health Aware solution to provide additional visibility to their central operations team or their NOC or an SRE team, or to forward the related health events to the enterprise operations team. Others used it uh, to make their application team aware of impacts potentially affecting their workload on AWS. And some of them used it to forward these events to the IT leadership. And about 100% of our customers said that they would recommend this solution to their colleague. So, next up, we would look at the new features that we have incorporated from the feedback that we have received from our customers. So, with the latest release, and even more so, we are beginning to rely more on the Event Bridge, as Event Bridge provides much more filtering option and routing capability. What we are looking to do here is to emulate a normal pattern and deliver that similar event to the bus of your choice. With AHA and now extension with the Event Bridge, you can create one to one or one to many event rules. And with the latest release, AHA includes an updated schema format or an updated event schema for events published to EventBridge to enable new options for advanced filtering. So where you have specific pattern of events you are looking for, you can send it like say for example, you could send some of them to the Slack channel. Some can be forwarded using email, and the other can be forwarded using a SaaS solution like PagerDuty. So the HR events can be sent to the Slack channel, which is monitored by the HR entity, and the operational events, or say events related to databases or RDS or Aurora, can be sent to the DBA team. And for security related events, one can create rules to send these security events through PagerDuty so that the on call person is paged or alerted as soon as the event is sent by AWS. And like I mentioned, with the updated event schema, complex filter such as the notifications and the one that we just discussed can be used or applied using the event bridge. Uh, I guess some of this would also be covered during the demo that will be done by my colleague Anjali. So next, let's get into the demo then, and how you could integrate these extra targets, and specifically the one related to ServiceNow. Before we get into the demo, do we have any questions?
Uh, Thanks, Kees, for taking us through the PhD. And we also talked about the pricing and support. Just one question I would like to ask on behalf of the audience. Is there a charge which is associated with using SHD or PhD? And also, does it require any support, specific support level subscription?
Yeah, a good question, Tanya. So the SHD or PhD are available at no charge, and this is regardless of the support plan. Customers do not have to be on a specific support plan to consume these events. They can simply log into their AWS console and type in health under the services and get into the console in order to view these events. So, to answer your question once again, there is no charge associated with it.
Great. I hope that helps our customers who are present with us viewing this series and session today. Great. So next, we would be heading into the demo where Anjali would be covering on the AHA deployment. But before that, she starts, there is a link that we are going to share on the chat window, and you can refer to our previous ASY video for the detailed information on AHA. Over to you, Anjali.
Hey, thanks, Tanya, and thanks, Cass, for taking us on the deep dive of AHA. So, in today's demo, we will cover steps to deploy AHA without AWS organization using CloudFormation template in a single region. For detailed information on different deployment options available, please refer to the link shared by Tanya. The scenario we will talk about today will cover sending AHA event notification to ServiceNow using AWS Event Bridge. We will create two ServiceNow accounts. On one account, we will send the event notification, all the event notification that are coming on AHA. And on the other account, we will send notification specific for one service. This filtration is the power that new AHA event schema brings on the table. So without further ado, let's dive deep into our demo and see all this in action. So when we are doing AHA deployment, the first step we need to do is create an S3 bucket. So for the purpose of this demo, let's create a bucket named AHA zip. And we also need to make sure that when we are creating this S3 bucket, it is not publicly accessible. So for security point of view, let's not make it publicly accessible. We have just created this bucket. So after this bucket has been created, the next step is to upload a zip file. So this zip file contains the Python code used to create the Lambda function as talked about in our architecture by Cas. So let's just upload this zip file. So once this zip file has been uploaded, next step would be to deploy a CloudFormation template that we get from our GitHub repository. So we will create a stack from the new resources. We will upload the YML file. So let's just select the YML file, upload it. We'll click on next. So here you can see that there are multiple parameters and configuration that we need to set up. So the first step is to provide the stack name. So we will write the stack name as AHA deployment. In the parameters, you can see there are multiple parameters that we can set from. So the first parameter here is AWS organization, whether it is enabled or disabled. So for the purpose of this demo, we will keep it as no. So moving ahead, so the next parameter available for us is the type of events that we want to get notified on. So either we can get all the types of event notification, or we can choose from whether if we want to get only the notification with respect to an issue. So in this demo, we will select to get all the type of notification. Then comes the configuration related to package. So here we will write the S3 bucket name which we created in previous step. And the next thing that we need to write here is the name of the zip file that we uploaded on S3 bucket. So just ensure that when you are writing the name of the zip file, you are including the extension .zip. So in the next configuration steps, there are multiple communication channels that you can choose from. So here we are talking about the event notification on which communication channel it will be sent to. So we can choose from Slack. So if you want to get notified on the Slack whenever an event occur, you can choose from here. You can even send these notification to Microsoft Teams, even Chime. And for the purpose of this demo, we are going to leverage an event bus. So here we'll just write the name of the event bus on which we will send the notification. So it's AHA event bus. So moving on, the next configuration is talking about the event search back. So event search back is nothing but it is the duration in hours on which we need to get back, look back and see if an event occurred. So by default, this value is 1 hour, but for the purpose of this demo, we are keeping it as 48 hours because we want to look back 48 hours and see if any event occurred and we want to get notified on this. So let's just keep it at 48 hours. Also, you will see that there are multiple others advanced option available as well. So say suppose you have a workload deployed on a particular region and you want to get notified on the events or services or issues and challenges that are happening on that particular region. So in this you can select that a particular region as well, or you can get notified of events happening on all the region. So in this demo we have selected it as all region. The next configuration is whether you want to deploy it on multiple region or not. So if you want to maintain a high availability, then you can deploy it on multiple region, but we are keeping it as a single region only. So we'll just click create next. We'll just review all the configuration that we have set up, And once this is done, a pop-up will there is also an option that we need to select, because in this template we are creating some IAM resources, so we need to acknowledge that we are aware that IAM resources will be created using this template. So let's just select it and we will create. So this deployments take a few minutes for getting to be deployed, because we are creating multiple resources, we are creating DynamoDB, we are creating Lambda function, so it will take some time for it to getting deployed. So once this is deployed, we are done with the part of AHA deployment. The second step we need to do is set up a ServiceNow account. So during my introduction, what we are going to do in this demo, I talked about that we will be creating two ServiceNow accounts. So here, let's briefly see how we can create a ServiceNow account. So we will be creating a developer account. So let's just log in into a ServiceNow portal, add our email, and next, then I will enter my password. So once I enter my password, I click on sign on. So once I'm signed in, I will get an option where I can start building. So once I click on start building, it's doing nothing but it will provide me an instance. So there are three regions from which you can choose from. So first is Tokyo, on which there are latest release available with respect to ServiceNow APIs. The second is the San Diego region. Then there is Rome region. So in this demo, both the accounts that we have created, we will be using Tokyo region. So let's click on Tokyo region and we will request for an instance. So for the instance to be available, it takes some time. And once the instance is available, you will get this pop-up which talks about what is the instance URL, the URL that you can use to call ServiceNow APIs. For credential purpose, it will provide you username and password. So username, for admin level, what's the admin username and admin password. You will also get this information in your registered email. And just make sure that you are copying this information in a notepad, because we would be needing this information when we are sending events to ServiceNow. So I will just make a note of this information. We'll just copy all this and keep it in a notepad. So now we have launched a ServiceNow. We have created a ServiceNow account. So the next step is making a connection between ServiceNow and AWS. So for this, let's go back into our AWS console and go to AWS Event Bridge. So in AWS Event Bridge, we need to create API destinations. So API destinations are nothing, but they are the HTTP endpoints URL using which you can connect to these third parties. And in API destinations, before we create these API destination, we define those HTTP endpoints, we need to create connections. So connections as in which credentials you use or which type of authentication method you will use. So here, let's create one connection and let's give it as a name as AHA ServiceNow connection. So here, if you scroll down, there are multiple authorization method that you can choose from. So one is the basic one where you can pass on the username and the password. The second is OAuth client. So if you are using OAuth credentials, then you can pass it here. The third is the API key. So if you get in any of the third party tools the API key, then you can use that as well here. So for the purpose of this demo, we will be using basic authentication. And here, just provide the username, and then I will enter the password for this basic authentication and click on next. So I have created one connection. Now I need to create a corresponding API destination. So I will just go on API destination tab, click on API destination, provide the name. Here we are talking about the HTTP, this URL ring for where we will be going and creating the connection. So if you remember, when we created the ServiceNow account, we got an information of the instance URL. So that instance URL we will be providing here. The next option is what kind of HTTP method we will be using when we are calling this URL. So for ServiceNow, since we will be posting this event, we will be using post method. After this, we'll keep everything as default, and we need to select the connection. So there are two options: either you can create connection here, or you can choose from the existing connection. So we have already created the connection, so we will from the drop down select it and just create this API destination. So since we have created two ServiceNow account, we will also be creating two connections and two API destinations. So let's create the other one. Let's give it as a name as AHA ServiceNow filter connection. So in this API destination, we will be sending our filtered notification. Here also, let's use the same authentication method, basic, provide the username, the password, just writing the password, click on submit. Yeah. So just I will create this. So once this connection has been created, we will create a corresponding API destination. Let's click on the name here, filter. I will paste the URL, method is post, and from the already created connection, we will from the drop down select the filter connection, and we'll just create this API destination. So now we have created the API destination. So next step is to create the AWS Event Bridge rules. So we'll go to AWS Event Bridge console, click on rules, and we will select from the bus name AHA EventBus. So if you remember, when we did the AHA deployment, we provided a name of the AHA event bus. So that is AHA EventBus we provided. We will select it from here, and we will create our first rule. So in our first rule, what we will be doing is we will be sending all the events that are coming on this event bus to our ServiceNow, first ServiceNow account. So let's give it as a name, AHA ServiceNow. In this event source. So in this event source, what we will be doing is that we want to get notification from all the event notifications that are coming in this event bus. So let's select all events. So once you select this all events, in the event pattern, you will see that there's a pre-filled pattern that is coming, and it is talking about the account and the account name. So if this key value pair is getting justified by events that are coming on this event bus, it will pass this rule. So let's keep it as it is. Click on next. And next thing is to select what will be the target. So since we will be passing all this to ServiceNow, and for ServiceNow connection, we created API destination. So let's select Event Bridge API destination. We'll select the existing one. So the first is ServiceNow. Once this is selected, we'll click on advanced settings. Yeah. So just when we click on, the next thing we need to do is configure target input. So we need to configure the input transformer, because until now what we have done is we have created a connection with our ServiceNow, and here we are reading the events that are coming on this bus, but we need to pass these events to ServiceNow in a certain format. So for this, we need to configure the input transformer. So let's just click on configure input transformer. The first thing we need to do is, in the input path, we need to define the attributes. So if you see, what we are doing here is we have defined few attributes like ARN, end time, event description, event short description. And in these attribute, we are passing the value by reading the updated schema. So in our, when we were talking in the DAC, Cass talked about that in AHA we have an updated schema which helps us to do these kind of filtration. In this updated schema, we have a dictionary named detail, and in this dictionary we have multiple attributes which provides information of event ARN, which provides information of description, service, what is the status. So we will leverage that information and store it in these attributes. So once we configure this input path, in template, we will be reading the attributes we defined in the above input path. So input in this template, in the description, let's read the attribute as event description. Short description, we will read as event type name. Then we have service. So let's just define this template. So once this template has been defined, we'll confirm it. So we have configured our input transformer. We'll just click on next, and next need to keep everything as default. We will review the configuration we have done so far, and we will just create this rule. So once this rule has been created, we need to create one more rule. So in this rule, we will be doing the filtration. So until now, we have sent all the events that are coming on this bus and did nothing, any kind of filtration, and passed it on. But let's create one more rule. Give it as name of AHA ServiceNow as filter. Click on next. Pass on all the events that are coming on this bus. Yeah. So now the filtration we will be doing is in event pattern. So we will change the default pattern that was coming here. We'll click on custom pattern, and we will provide our own pattern that we need to match in this rule. So just click here. So here the pattern that I have entered, it is talking about the detailed dictionary, that in detailed dictionary, if the service is cloud formation, then only it should pass this rule. So that's the filtration I have defined. But based on your requirement, you can do filtration on based on different services and status as well. So it's all based on your requirement, what kind of filtration you want to do. In this demo, we are doing filtration on service attribute. So let's just keep it as services cloud formation, and we'll click on next. Select event bridge API destination, since we will be sending this to one of our API destination. Here from existing, we will select the second one, API service now filter. And similarly, in the previous step, we will configure the input transformer. So it's using the same step. We are defining the attribute in input path. Then in template, we are reading the attribute from input path and preparing it for API call, and we will confirm it. Once the confirmation is done, we will again just click on next, keep everything as default, review the configuration. If there is any changes required, we can edit it. Otherwise, we will just create this rule. So now we have created two rules. In the first rule, we are passing all the events without any filtration. In the second rule, we are passing the rule based on the filter for service as cloud formation. Now, all the setup has been done. Now the next step comes of testing whether these events are getting sent to ServiceNow or not. So for this, we will go into our ServiceNow console. We'll go in incident table, and in incident table we will select as all. So we want to see if we are getting all the events or not. So here you can see that in short description we get to see AWS specific description. So these are the events that were sent by AHA on EventBridge and ultimately on ServiceNow. So this is only short description, but in case if you want to see more detail about it, so let's just click on this info icon. So once you click on this info icon, here you can see the information that we passed from our input transformer. So here in description, we can see what's the description, when the event was happened, what is the latest status of this event. So all this information can be viewed here. So let's see if our filtration worked as well or not. So let's just go to our second ServiceNow account, go to our incident table. And in this incident table, let's see if we see any notification or not in all. Yeah. So here we don't see any notification. So if you viewed in previous when in the previous ServiceNow account, the notifications were not coming for CloudFormation service. So let's just go ahead in our AWS console and just modify this filtration. So here, let's go to EventBridge and include a service for which notification came. So let's see how we can modify the rule. We will go to our, again select the event bus, go to our filter rule. We'll click on edit, and in this pattern, instead of cloud formation, we will select cloud catalyst, code catalyst. Yeah. So once code catalyst, next, and we will just update this rule. Yeah, just updating the rule. Now rule has been updated. But how we will get review the previous notifications again? Because in our template we defined as 48 hours, it's done its review of 48 hours and send the notification. So in architecture we talked about that we have a component of DynamoDB. So in DynamoDB all the notification gets stored so that you don't get a duplicate entry. So let's just go to the DynamoDB and clean all these notifications so that we can test out if our updated filtration rule is working or not. We'll get to our DynamoDB table of our deployment and we will just delete all the items that are here. Okay. Once you clean this DynamoDB, so your AHA deployment will again go to the search back period of 48 hours. It will see if there's a new notification 48 hours back and provide it. So now after this search back, we can see our in ServiceNow, uh, we can see that the code catalyst is coming up. So here our filtration is working. So, and you can just click on info, you can see that you can, all the description is coming. So this was all in our demo part, but if you are interested in to know more, just drop us a note in our comment section and we will take it up. So over to you, Tanya. Is there any question from audience?
Thank you, Anjali, for taking us through the demo. So, one question, how can we monitor events that is sent to ServiceNow? Like, for example, one of the event, if it is not sent, is there a way to track it?
Thanks, Tanya, for asking this. And yeah, we do face these kind of challenges. So if you need to troubleshoot your API integration, you can use a SQS dead letter queue to see the errors that are generated by EventBridge. And in dead letter queue, it is a queue that one or more sources queues can use for messages that are not consumed successfully. Ensure that your SQS queue has permission to receive the information from EventBridge. And in our next section, what we will be doing is we will be covering more about troubleshooting and monitoring. So
Got it.
yeah, thank you, Tanya. So let's go to our troubleshooting. So if you go to your event bridge rules, you will see in monitoring section, there are three things that you can monitor. One is invocations. So how many times your rules was invoked, and what are your triggered rules. And here you will see in the third tab, it is talking about failed invocations. So it means that you did get invoked, but your rules were not passed. Basically you didn't pass that information to your target, whether it is event bridge or any other target. So let's dive deep more into it and see how we can get more information and troubleshoot it. So moving to the next slide. So the first step we will do is we will go to our AHA Service Now connection and we will see what's its status, whether it is authorized or deauthorized. So whenever this API destination get triggered, it will make a connection based on our authentication parameter we used. And if it is not able to connect, it will provide the status as deauthorized. So here we see that the status is deauthorized. So let's dive more into it, how we can check what's the parameter that or configuration we are missing. So what you can do is you can log in into your AWS CLI and just pass it, or normal CLI, just go and provide this curl. Here in the instance ID, just provide the information, instance ID you get from instance URL when we created the ServiceNow account. You can just hit on this curl, providing the authentication as well, the username and the password. In case you are getting this message that user is not authenticated, or that means you are not providing the appropriate username or you are missing something in the password, and you can just first check whether this curl is getting successful or not. Once this curl gets successful, then you can update this information in your API connection, and voila, your information will get, basically you will be able to troubleshoot it and you will get all the information on ServiceNow. So that was all from our end in AHA and the deployment strategy. So any ending question or notes?
Thank you, Anjali. Thanks, Case. So, one question that we would like to ask, is the event bus creation necessary to run the AHA, or is it only if you want to use the event bridge? Can any one of you enlighten the audience, please?
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah,
y-
I can take that question.
yeah, sure, sure, Cash. Yeah.
Yeah. So only if you so with respect to event bus creation necessary to run AHA, it is only if you want to use it for further filtering or send output to other services or third-party solutions. Only then you could further make use of the event bridge extensibility.
Okay. Thanks, Kais. Really appreciate that. So I think we are good. No further questions that we see from the audience. So with that, today, everyone, we looked at the AWS Health Aware solutions where Kais and Anjali also demonstrated the demo of sending the health alerts to ServiceNow with EventBridge integration. So I really hope it was helpful. If there are any questions that were not answered today, and you want us, our experts, to answer that for you, you can post your questions on repost.aws, where one of our experts can provide you with the answer to your questions, or your question could also become a topic of one of our future shows. And if you have any feedback for us, please check the chat box on the right hand side for a link to our survey. Or you can also email us at awssupportsyou@amazon.com. We want to hear from you. Tell us what else we would like to see on the show. And be sure to join us again in 2 weeks on February 8th at 10 a.m. IST, where we will be discussing on the implementation of SaaS workload optimization with PostgreSQL. Thank you again, KS, Anjali, and all of you for joining us today. Happy cloud computing.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, everyone.